Welcome back, everybody. I know we've been on a little bit of a hiatus. We've just been really busy. I told you guys I was sick for a little bit, feeling much better now. I have decided to make some time for you on this wonderful Saturday afternoon to teach you a little bit about the speed control plate. Now, some of the reasons that you would want to adjust the speed control, first off, if you're missing gears, like say you go up, you have stir 2, 4, 6, and then you don't really see much of a difference between 8 and 10, that would be a great reason to tune the speed control. If you put it onto stir and you can kind of hear the motor groaning, that would be a good reason to adjust the speed control. And sometimes if you just have no power whatsoever, you look into the speed control boards. But first, let me show you what we did this morning. Top of the morning to you. It is like 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm feeling good. We're gonna get some stuff filmed for you. It is cold in the shop though. It is. It's like, but it's like 40 degrees out here. It was freezing overnight. We have some frost on the ground. We have some frost on the windows. And overall, it's just kind of chilly. This was the previous heater that heated my shop, guys. It's just like this radiator. It's just a kind of a radiator, basically. It's just radiant heat. It doesn't even get really that hot. It puts off a little bit of warmth. You know, if you're right next to it, like huddle around a trash can fire, you stay pretty warm. My mom came in fat, though, and picked this up for me when she was out doing some Black Friday shopping. Now, she didn't come in too fat because, well, I had to pay her back for it, so, you know. I wish my parents bought me stuff. They never really have. That's okay, though. I had clothes on my back and food on the table. That's all you really need, eh? All right, let's open this bad boy up. This is the Heat Storm Infrared Heater Tripod Combo TT. I don't know what the TT stands for, but anyways, let's get her open. Get in there. Looks like it's packaged fairly well. That's the first sign of a decent product. All right, let's pull it out of here and get it turned on, see if we can't warm this place up a bit. Okay, maybe it was packaged too good, because every time I pull a piece out, there's more stuff to take off. I straight up feel like this is a Russian nesting doll right now, like one of those little egg things, like pop, another little guy comes out, another little guy comes out. Anyways, let's get her fixed up.
Huh? Where's my little happy me?
And this is why I put the heater in the shop today. Gotta keep this little guy nice and warm. Hi, buddy.
Hi, happy man.
All right, I ran out of outlets, so I had to plug it into the ceiling. But let's take a quick test. Now, let's turn the power on. And to be honest, I'm feeling actual immediate heat, immediate warmth. Oh, it's turning red already. Oh, wow, that's so quick. And that is putting off a lot of heat. I'm actually having to back up already. Man, this thing is nice. Now, I would say I'm pretty content with this purchase. I think it was $79.99, but it's nice and warm, so I'm not going to complain. Just finishing up, getting some grease packaged for you guys. We got orders coming in. Now, I don't mean like we're flying off the shelves or anything, but, you know, we're getting a couple every day or something like that. Really cool. I'm glad to see that you guys are wanting to service and take care of your machines. That's great. I think that's fantastic. This is what your purchases go to help support. A child in need. Wife is helping getting boxes ready. I think we have 10 orders total. We sold some speed control boards for the professional 600s. We've sold some replacement gears, some plastic worm gears. We've sold some of the metal worm gears for the 600. We got 5 or 6 tubs of grease going, and just a few other like tools and odds and ends like that. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you. All right, I am working on getting some of these orders fulfilled. You can see down here on the ground, we've got several boxes there. I think we had 9 or 10 orders. So yeah, we're doing that. I just want to show you what goes into this, guys. So each one of these is packaged with love. And watch this. This is what I do for each and every single one of you. I get your order packaged, and then I pay for the shipping label, put it on here, and then before I send it off, safe travels, my friend. Reach your destination. All right, I don't actually do that, but I do appreciate you guys. All right, let's dive into it. So the first thing we want to do is remove the back cap off of the machine. It's just the one screw here. If you guys watch my re-grease videos, you kind of know how to disassemble the machine a little bit here. So we'll go ahead and remove that back cap there. We'll set that off to the side. And with the back cap removed, we have actually revealed the speed control plate. That's this unit right here. Now, before I teach you how to tune it, let's show you guys how the mechanism actually works. To do that, we're gonna have to take the machine apart. Now, to make adjustments to the speed control plate, you're not gonna have to disassemble the machine. I just want to show you for your reference so you kind of understand how the machine works and how it changes speeds and things like that. I think it will be very beneficial for you guys to know. All right, we got the machine taken apart. Look at this disgusting, just heaping pile of nasty grease. This thing was leaking so bad. It leaked all over the place. But anyways, this is what we're gonna be looking at today. Now, this is your speed shifter knob, and this is kind of how this speed control mechanism works. So it has a tensioner spring on it, right? You see this spring. I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit before I keep filming, guys. There is oil everywhere. Okay, I'm back. Whew, that heater is getting warm. I'm gonna have to take off my jacket real quick. All right, class, on with the lesson. Okay, so this is the speed control shift here, right, where you change your speeds. It is mounted down by a set screw right here, and it is actually spring loaded. And this is a tensioner spring. Now, underneath that tensioner spring, you see this, not this, but you see this metal bar, the other metal bar underneath it. So when you actually move that, you see it moves that bar with it, right? Okay. So now that you see that, this little white plastic piece down here that goes through the bottom of the speed control board, okay, that actually moves and pushes the board in and out, okay? So that's how it shifts speeds, right? When you shift, it pushes that out. It causes this speed control board to protrude. So as you extend it, it clicks it further and further out, right? All right. I'm gonna finish re-greasing this machine and putting it back together because it's gonna be a little bit easier to do the rest of the tutorial with the machine in its normal orientation. So, I'll be right back with you. All right, we are back. I got this baby all nice and shined up, cleaned up. Let's get into that rear end. All right, let's discuss a few troubleshooting things first. So this is how the machine actually engages, and all I'm doing here is putting it into the stir speed. You see that little lever right here, right? There's a little contact there, and a lever just drops down into place. Now you see what's happening. This little white tab here is it's kind of beveled a little bit, and as you put it into gear, it actually allows that little prong to just drop down into place. If you're having no connection right here, you can see these two visibly aren't touching, which mine are. That would be a reason why you would have no power whatsoever, and that would be a good reason to change the speed control board out. It would need to be replaced. And another thing to look for is we discussed this spring here earlier. It comes in and it connects to the bottom of the speed control board, just under that screw right there. You see it just kind of links in right there. It's just got a little hook on it. It just hooks around that edge. If that is disconnected, it'll actually allow the machine to run. But since there's nothing pulling tension to hold the board this way, it acts as if it's on full gear because that spring isn't pulling tension. It's going to be all the way out here and it's just going to run full tilt. You would have to take the machine apart. You would have to get in there, find that spring, stretch it back out and hook back onto here. Now, the last reason that you would want to change out the speed control board, obviously if there's any damage or defects, like if you have any big cracks or anything in this plastic, you'd want to change it out. But if you notice your machine surging, like zzz, 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 a lot of times that's because this copper plate here just kind of gets weakened because as you put it into gear, you have what's called the governor, which is this little thing right behind. It's got two weights on each side of it. There you go. You can see it a little better there. It's got two weights on each side, and as it spins, those weights kind of move in and out, and it helps kind of maintain the speed of the machine, right? So what happens is that pushes against this copper plate. It causes it to move a little bit. And sometimes this can just get a little weak from moving so much. Think about bending a piece of wire and snapping it. That's kind of what's happening here. This isn't allowing enough tension that way. And so it'll just allow it to surge. It doesn't really sound that great. I recommend replacing, it's a $20 part. We do offer these on our website, guys, mrmixer.store. We'll link that in the description for you. All right, now that I've bored you with all the technical stuff, let's get into the actual adjustment itself. So the first thing you want to do, needle nose pliers, and there's 2 nuts on each side, guys. There's one here, and there's one right here. That actually mounts the speed control board to the bearing bracket, which is this gray piece right here, what all the electronics mount to. So you just want to give this a loosen. You don't have to like take it all the way off, just make sure it's loose. We'll do the other side as well here. Now be careful when you're loosening these. You don't want to accidentally get up underneath your phase control board here and pry up on that. You could damage that. So just be careful, be cognizant of that. So our bolts are now loose, or our nuts rather. So let's go ahead at this point. We need to turn the machine on. So we're going to plug it in. So now that we are actually plugged in, this board is hot. So you do not want to touch any of this copper. You don't really want to touch any of these prongs over here. So just be careful. If you're just paying attention, you're not going to shock yourself. Even if you do, it's probably not going to kill you. I've shocked myself a few times. Just a little zap, no worries. So with the machine on, before we make any adjustments, we want to test our stir speed. So we're going to turn it to stir. And what I like to do is place my hand on the side of the machine, just like this, and make a little finger gun, and allow that planetary to just spin around and hit your finger. And what you're looking for on stir is you want 60 rotations a minute. So what I like to do is I like to count 10 in 10 seconds. That'll give you 60. After we got the stir speed set, then we want to set speed 6. And we'll go back, we'll look at the adjustments here in a second. So you do the same thing, you would turn it on to speed 6, and it's a lot faster, but you want to count 30 in 10 seconds. And this will ensure that all of your speeds are lined up, because once you have stir set and you have 6 set, the rest of the speeds really just fall into place. The next thing we want to look at is actually adjusting the speeds. I'm going to replicate a few issues that you guys might be running into. So we'll go ahead and tighten these down quite a bit. And how these work is the further they're screwed in, the slower your machine is going to be moving. So you saw how fast it was moving earlier. You hear that groan? You can hear the motor trying to work, but it's actually not getting enough power. So you would know that we need to move these out. And so we would just loosen them, and you want to loosen them about the same amount. You would give them a few turns. You don't want this side being all the way out here and this side way over here. You're going to twerk some stuff. So you definitely want to just give a few turns on each side, and we'll give that a listen again. Okay, there we go. Now it's got power. It's running about right. This would be the point where you do your little finger gun, and you count your 10 in 10 seconds to make sure you're set. The inverse of that is if they're too far out, you can hear the motor tune change. You can hear it pick up speed. And now it's going, way faster than you want it to. That's like a speed 4 on stir. So you would know, okay, let's go ahead and screw these in. And once you have it set where you need to have it set, then you can go ahead. At that point, you have, your stir speed set. We'll lock these nuts here back in. You want to tighten those back down to make sure that they don't move out of place. Okay, our next big feat is going to be to set speed 6. Now, that bar that I talked about earlier? Here it is right here. Here's the end of it. Now, watch what happens. We're going to put it into stir, okay? And it pushes it out a little bit, but it actually doesn't connect with that screw yet. When you turn it into speed 2, you see how it connects that screw? That's what actually causes it to kick up to the next speed. You hear the increase in speed when I move it up. This bottom screw to set speed 6 is actually inverse of the top. So again, the top, the further in you have them screwed, the slower your machine's going to be going. The further out, the faster. It's inverse down here. So the further you have it in, the faster it's going to go. The further you have it out, the slower it's going to go. So let's turn our machine up to speed 6. 4, 6. And watch what happens when I loosen here, right? We're going to definitely slow down. You hear that motor tune just changing pitch. You see our planetary slowing down there. We'll go ahead and tighten that back up. And at this point, this is where you want to do the finger gun again. Let's go over this one more time in real speed here. So we're going to go on and we're going to count, all right? 1 Mississippi. See, it doesn't quite make the full rotation. So what you're going to want to do, obviously, is speed it up a little bit. Remember, to speed it up, we loosen the top. You can kind of hear the motor again, like I said, pick up speeds. We'll test here. 1 Mississippi. And it's hitting my finger right at a second. I know the Mississippi trick isn't accurate, but I use my phone as a timer, and it's currently indisposed filming for you guys. Now let's look at that speed 6 again, all right? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You get the gist of it, guys. You want it to do 30 in 10 seconds. If it is going too fast, we're going to go ahead and loosen. If it's going too slow, we're going to go ahead and tighten. And you just want to keep, fine-tuning, making these little adjustments to make sure that it's going right. Now, you'll definitely be able to tell all of these machines are a little different. They have their own personality, guys. So just because yours is not, like you put it on 60, you get it right at 60 on stir, right? And it's sounding really weird, adjust it a little bit. It can go a little bit slower than 60. You don't really want it going faster. I think the recommended is 48 to 60. We like to have it at 60. That's where you're getting all that power from, right? So yeah, just make some fine-tune adjustments. You'll be able to hear. If it sounds good to you, then that means that it's running how it should be. Same with the upper gear as well. Just make some fine-tune adjustments and you'll get the hang of it. Well, thank you so much for sticking around. That concludes the speed control adjustment on these machines. Now, this is going to work on the Classic, the Ultra Power, Classic Plus, Artisan, and even the bowl raise machines that have the removable back cap, like the K5SS, K5A kind of models. Yeah, so that concludes everything. I appreciate you all for being here. If you need any of these parts or grease or tools or gaskets, anything like that, check out our website. Link will be in the description. I forgot. There's one last thing I have to show you. That's right, baby, the parts graveyard. Here's a bunch of parts that we changed out this week. We got some worm follower gears, we got some worm gears, we got a governor, a couple of the locking latches, and a speed control board. Let's add them to the pile. Make it rain. Make sure to send your parts in. If you have any spare parts that you're not using, that you break, you replace, go ahead and send them in. We'll feature them and we'll add them to the graveyard. Now, my hope for that parts graveyard is to see a mountain of parts. So I hope you guys get involved and get interested and want to have a little fun. Send your stuff in. If not, if you think I'm stupid, forget about it. And that concludes the episode. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate every single one of you. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.